Hi, how's it going today? The title says 3 minutes or less, so I'll try and be quick. Collective guilt is when a group of people feels guilty about its past actions, collectively. Pretty straightforward, right? Think about white guilt over slavery in the United States, or the German guilt for World War II. Now, every case of collective guilt is a little bit different, because every group's reasons for feeling guilty are a little bit different. Luckily, there's a pretty simple formula to define collective guilt. There must be at least 2 separate groups. One of those groups must have wronged the other one, and the group that committed the wrong has to feel guilty about committing it. Let's look at the example of white guilt. In this example, there are 2 groups, African Americans and white Americans. White Americans very clearly wronged African Americans in the past, and many white Americans feel guilty for the wrongs their group committed. This fits all 3 of the requirements, and is an example of collective guilt. Now let's look at what the effects of collective guilt are. In the short term, a group which feels collectively guilty will often try to make up for whatever caused the guilt. This can take the form of passing laws to help the group that they wronged, donating money to the group that they wronged, or changing their political or religious beliefs. Excuse me. These all sound like positive results, and they are. This video is about the downside of collective guilt. All the results I just listed may help in the short term, but in the long term, they are only superficial. Actions taken out of guilt, however supportive they may be, cannot affect a long-term change. In order for any 2 groups to overcome their differences, they must be able to communicate with each other on equal footing. If one side of a discussion feels that it owes something to the other side, that discussion can never be equal. Worse, on a personal level, collective guilt will create an awkwardness between individuals of the 2 different groups. This awkwardness between the groups will get in the way of any further reconciliation and keep the divide between the groups wide. Basically, collective guilt is good in the short term because it brings on the surface changes that are very important, such as new, more equal laws and a new type of political correctness. But if it persists for too long, it will drive a wedge between different groups of people. Thank you for your time, and I hope they raised a lot of questions.